Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Unlocking Your Hidden Power, a new way to negotiate your life. Have you ever felt unheard in a conversation, or walked away from a discussion, feeling like you didn't get what you truly wanted? What if I told you that the ability to navigate these moments, to truly connect with others, and steer outcomes in your favor, isn't some innate talent, but a skill you can learn? Today, we're diving deep into a revolutionary approach to negotiation, one that can transform not just your professional dealings, but every single interaction in your life. Get ready, because you're about to discover how to get what you want, not by being aggressive, but by being smarter, more empathetic, and more in tune with human nature. This audiobook review will explore the groundbreaking principles from Never Split the Difference, negotiating as if your life depended on it. The insights we're about to uncover come from a man who has tested these techniques in the most extreme situations imaginable, Chris Voss. For over 2 decades, Chris Voss honed his skills in the high-stakes world of the FBI, eventually becoming the Bureau's lead international kidnapping negotiator. Think about that for a moment. His office was often a tense standoff with terrorists or kidnappers, where lives literally hung in the balance. He wasn't just negotiating deals. He was negotiating for human lives. What Chris discovered was that the traditional rules of negotiation, the ones many of us were taught, often failed spectacularly in these critical moments. He realized that understanding human psychology, emotions, and the hidden dynamics of interaction was the key not just to saving lives, but to achieving success in any negotiation. Never Split the Difference isn't just a catchy title. It's a philosophy born from real-world life-or-death experience, now adapted to help you in your daily life. As Voss himself says, life is negotiation. From asking for a raise, to buying a car, to simply deciding where to go for dinner with your partner, these are all negotiations. And this book provides the field-tested tools to talk anyone into or out of just about anything. So, are you ready to discover how to become the smartest person in any room? Let's begin. The old rules are broken. Many of us approach negotiation with a set of outdated beliefs. We might think it's about being the toughest, the loudest, or having all the answers. Or perhaps we believe in finding a win-win by always compromising, by splitting the difference. But here's the crucial point. These old ways often don't work, or at least, they don't get you the best results. Chris Voss learned this the hard way. He saw firsthand that the classic, rational, problem-solving approach taught in business schools often crumbled when faced with irrational, emotional human beings, which, let's be honest, is all of us some of the time. Think about it. When was the last time pure logic won you an argument with a spouse, a child, or even a stubborn colleague? Voss explains that we are all, at our core, emotional beings. We act and react based on fears, needs, perceptions, and desires that are often invisible, even to ourselves. Ignoring these emotional underpinnings is like trying to make an omelet without cracking an egg. The traditional advice to separate the person from the problem sounds good in theory, but how can you separate the person when their emotions are the problem? This is where a new set of rules comes into play, and the part best is, these rules are learnable. The art of hearing, your secret weapon. So if brute force or pure logic isn't the answer, what is? It starts with something deceptively simple, listening. But not just passively hearing words. We're talking about a dynamic, active form of listening designed to understand the person across the table on a deeper level. One of the first game-changing techniques Voss introduces is mirroring. It's almost laughably simple. You repeat the last 1 to 3 critical words your counterpart has just said. For example, if they say, "This project has been incredibly stressful," you might respond with, "Stressful?" That's it. What happens next is almost like magic. Your counterpart will often elaborate, expand on their thought, and reveal more information, all while feeling understood and connected to you. It's a technique that builds rapport quickly and helps you gather vital intelligence without being confrontational. We instinctively fear what's different and are drawn to what's similar. Mirroring subtly signals, "We're alike, you can trust me." But listening isn't just about making the other person talk. It's about understanding their emotional state. And once you spot an emotion, you can use another powerful tool, labeling. This is where you verbally acknowledge the other person's feeling. You might say something like, "It seems like you're feeling a lot of pressure with this deadline," or It sounds like you're hesitant about this proposal. Notice the phrasing. It seems like, or it sounds like. This makes it an observation, not an accusation. Labeling helps to diffuse negative emotions by bringing them into the open. When someone's anger or fear is acknowledged, it often loses its intensity. It's like shining a light on a monster under the bed. It suddenly seems much smaller. And here's the beautiful part. When people feel understood, they become less defensive and more open to your point of view. This is the essence of tactical empathy. Understanding the feelings and mindset of another in the moment, and also hearing what's behind those feelings to increase your influence. It's not about agreeing with them or feeling sorry for them, that's sympathy. It's about understanding their perspective to better guide the negotiation. Interesting, isn't it? How much power lies in simply understanding and acknowledging? The power of no, and the magic of that's right. What's the word most people dread hearing in a negotiation? For many, it's no. We often see no as rejection, as the end of the discussion. But Voss turns this idea on its head. He argues that no is often where the real negotiation begins. Think about it. How many times have you said yes just to make someone go away, or because you felt pressured? That kind of yes is often counterfeit. A no, on the other hand, can signify that the other person feels safe and in control enough to express their true position. It allows them to protect their autonomy. When you give someone permission to say no right from the start, it can actually lower their defenses and make them more open to your proposal. So don't fear no. Welcome it. It's often a sign they are engaged and thinking. But if no is the start, what's the real goal beyond a simple yes? Voss reveals that the two most powerful words you can hear from your counterpart are not "you're right," but "that's right." There's a subtle but profound difference. When someone tells you "you're right," it's often a way to politely disengage, to make you stop talking. They might agree with your logic on the surface, but they haven't truly internalized your point. But when they say, "that's right," it's a moment of epiphany for them. It means they feel completely understood by you, that you've articulated their perspective, their feelings, their situation so perfectly that they embrace what you've said as their own truth. How do you get there? Through active listening techniques like summarizing. When you can summarize someone's position and emotions so well that they respond with, "that's right," you've created a powerful connection and a foundation for real behavioral change. It's the moment the negotiation truly shifts in your favor. Bending reality and creating control without them knowing it. Ever noticed how the same amount of money can feel like a fortune or an insult depending on the context? That's because our perception of value is highly subjective and can be framed. This is where Voss introduces the concept of bending their reality. It's about understanding psychological principles like loss aversion, the idea that people will take greater risks to avoid losses than to achieve gains. To get real leverage, you have to persuade your counterpart that they have something concrete to lose if the deal falls through. One powerful way to do this is by anchoring their emotions. You can start by acknowledging all their fears, painting a picture of potential downsides. This inflames their loss aversion, making your eventual proposal seem like a welcome escape. For example, before telling contractors about a significant pay cut due to unforeseen problems, Voss first detailed how they might perceive him as a lousy businessman who couldn't plan or budget, anchoring their expectations low. Then, he framed the reduced offer as an opportunity he was bringing to them before someone else, tapping into their fear of missing out. Every single one took the deal. What about price? Should you always make the first offer? Not necessarily. Letting the other side anchor first can give you valuable information, especially if you don't know the market value. But be ready for them to use an extreme anchor to try and throw you off. And remember the power of odd, specific numbers. $37,263 feels more calculated and firm than a rounded $38,000. It gives your offers credibility. Then there's the incredible power of calibrated questions. These are open-ended questions, typically starting with how or what, designed to remove aggression and give your counterpart the illusion of control while you are actually shaping the conversation. Instead of saying, "you can't leave," you ask, "what do you hope to achieve by going?" Instead of, "you're screwing me out of money," you ask, "how am I supposed to do that?" This question, delivered calmly, makes the other side look at your situation and often participate in solving your problem. It's a gentle way to say no and guide them towards your desired solution, making them feel like it was their idea all along. Remember, yes is nothing without how. Making it stick and finding the unseen. Getting an agreement is one thing. Ensuring it gets implemented is another. You have to be a decision architect, considering not just the person at the table, but the team behind the table, those who can make or break your deal. Ask questions like, how does this affect the rest of your team? Or, how on board are the people not on this call? And how do you know if the yes you got is real? Use the rule of 3. Get them to agree to the same thing 3 times in the same conversation, perhaps by summarizing, labeling, or asking a calibrated how question about implementation. It's hard to fake conviction repeatedly. Finally, Voss talks about the critical importance of uncovering black swans. Those hidden and unexpected pieces of information that, if revealed, can completely change the negotiation dynamic. These aren't always deep, dark secrets. Sometimes your counterpart is unaware of their significance. Uncovering them requires intense listening, observing unguarded moments, and questioning things that don't seem to make sense. When someone seems crazy, it's often because they are ill-informed, constrained, or have other interests you haven't discovered yet. These moments are your cue to dig deeper. What if I told you that the key to unlocking these black swans often lies in understanding your counterpart's religion, their worldview, what truly matters to them? This allows you to build normative leverage, using their own standards and beliefs to guide them. Your path to transformation. We've journeyed through a landscape of powerful negotiation techniques, from mirroring and labeling to mastering no and uncovering black swans. We've learned that true negotiation isn't about battling an opponent, but about collaborating with a partner to solve a problem. It's about understanding human psychology, embracing tactical empathy, and guiding conversations towards outcomes that serve you while making the other person feel understood and in control. The strategies we've discussed, like asking, "How am I supposed to do that?" instead of issuing demands, or listening for the "that's right" moment instead of just a yes, are not just for high-stakes hostage situations, they are for your everyday life. They are tools to empower you, to help you get what you want without compromising your integrity or damaging relationships. Now, let's see if you've grasped the essence with a few questions to ponder. What is the first active listening technique, like mirroring or labeling, that you will consciously try in your next important conversation? Remember the core difference between "you're right" and "that's right." How will you strive to achieve that "that's right" moment to ensure genuine agreement? Think about a recent situation where you felt stuck. Which calibrated how question could have helped you create movement and give the other person the illusion of control? What black swan, what hidden piece of information or motivation might be influencing a current challenge in your life, and how can you start digging to uncover it? The journey to becoming an exceptional negotiator, and indeed a more effective human being, involves embracing conflict not as something to fear, but as an opportunity for discovery and creative problem solving. It's about listening with an open mind, speaking with empathy, and always being curious. Don't stop here. Take these tools and start practicing them. The more you use them, the more natural they'll become, and the more you'll see your interactions and your life transform. Continue your journey of growth.